Hi, I'm AJ Espinoza. I'm 13 years old and I'm from South Freeport. How do I defy expectations? I defy expectations just by my age and my knowledge. I surprise people every day about topics that are going on throughout the world that some kids shouldn't even be hearing about or supposed to not be hearing about. One example is my Hat and Mitten Fund. I saw through volunteering, and especially through Sandy, how cold it gets. And all I wanted to do was not say, woe is me, woe is me. I wanted to help others, adults, kids, families that were very less fortunate. So when I went to different organizations that I also work with, like the March of Dimes and the Joy Foundations, any benefits that I ever went to, I always had to do that icebreaker. And when Chef AJ would go, as a child, I always had to have a chaperone with me, and I still do. And everyone would just assume, oh, it's my mother, that she's Chef AJ. And then when I would get introduced and I would have that icebreaker with adults, everyone would have assumed that I was someone way older than I am, because I'm a kid. How am I talking like that? I'm a kid. How do I know about this? I'm a kid, and I've been cooking since I was 4. I'm a kid, and I started foundation when I was 8. I'm a kid, and I'm at a benefit that's for adults. What issues am I passionate about? I am very passionate about world hunger because I don't think it's right that people in America, for example, take for granted that faucet that we are able to run, that shower or bath that we take and we leave the water on for hours upon hours. That bite of meat or that bite of fruit that many people in other countries can't even have water. Many people in other countries, especially women and children, have to walk miles upon miles in the dark, in the light, might not knowing if they're going to make it back home alive with that 5 ounces of water, 1 gallon of water. Another thing I'm very passionate about is making sure you stay warm and you stay safe. Lots of people, especially families and children and adults even, can't stay warm, especially due to the holidays, which is how I started my Hat and Mitten Fund. When I experienced it in Sandy, I felt so cold. And even though it was only for 3 to 4 months, it felt like years. That's how cold it was. And I took it upon myself to make sure that no one has to feel like that, ever. And I'm still accomplishing that to this day. That was when I was 7 years old, and I'm 13 years old now. What do I like best about myself? There's 3 things I like best about myself. Obviously, because I'm always positive about myself, I love my beautiful face and I love my beautiful hair. But I also love that I'm very stubborn and I do not take no for an answer. And when I say that, I don't mean because I want a toy or I want a bigger room or I want a new outfit. I'm stubborn because I want to make sure I'm able to help. I never take no for an answer when I'm told, you can't volunteer, you're just a kid, you can't do this. You shouldn't do that. Go play with the kids. I'm going to use a kids' table and adults' table at Thanksgiving, for example. I'm always told, why don't you go on play dates? Why do you have to be here? This is just for adults, sweetie. You don't know what this is. Go sit at the kids' table when I clearly earned my space at the adults' table with all the knowledge, all the stuff I've done to help adults. Another thing I like best about myself is my positivity. I'm never able to let someone else's opinion on myself affect how I feel about myself, because everyone has their own opinion, and I love my personality, and I'm not afraid to express it and show it to the world, because everyone's opinion and everyone's personality is what makes everybody beautiful and unique in my eyes, which is why I especially don't like when people judge, because everyone's normal is another person's unique. or rather weirdness. What obstacles have I had to surpass to get where I am today? One major obstacle that I've mentioned throughout all the questions is my age. I'm 13 years old, and I'm told constantly as I've grown up, why don't you play it with the kids? This isn't something you should be talking about. This is, honey, you wouldn't understand. This is big kid stuff. Well, I'm a big kid now and I'm still being told this. But then when I have that icebreaker, I have that one conversation with even my mother's friends, it's instantly, you think you're talking to someone their age, not my age. So I do feel that my age is something that really, really brings me down, but it also brings me up. Because I surprise people all the time, and I love doing it. Not because I want to say, oh, I'm 13 and I know more than you. No, it's I'm 13 and I'm able to express something to your level. And I feel proud of myself, and I always encourage other kids that are even younger than me to be able to do it. If you know something, express yourself. You shouldn't be afraid to do that. Another obstacle that I've had to surpass is, because a lot of people feel that they're entitled because their mommies and daddies have more money than I do because they have mommies and daddies. But I don't think that's what should define and what you think you're entitled to. I feel that just because I'm one way or I live one way should not mean that you're better than me or I'm better than you. I'm AJ Espinoza, and this is my audition.